The laughing aliens. The alien soldiers scoffed at the scratched metal weapon in the human's hands, pointing and laughing until the human's bullet sent Razzie's head splattering across the cargo hold wall in a spray of grey matter and squirting orange arteries. The harsh glare from the single flickering fluorescent tube etched deep shadows across Varys's craggy face, his metallic left eye whirring faintly as it automatically adjusted to the dim lighting of the Karen bar. Zolak slouched across the table, his frayed uniform hanging off his gaunt frame. The two grizzled veterans clinked their mugs of cricks and ale, the only things strong enough to chase away their demons on nights like these. The human threat. Did you hear the latest about those damn humans? Varys's gruff voice cut through the bar's low chatter. Zolak let out a non-committal grunt. I stopped listening to rumors about those upstart primates long ago. Remember when we first encountered them during the Cryan campaign? Varys continued, ignoring his friend's apathy. We thought their primitive weapons were a joke. Zolak sat up a little straighter, his eyes suddenly clearer. I remember we laughed our asses off at those ridiculous rifles and machine guns. Our boys were slinging around plasma cannons and railguns that could level a building with one shot, and there those humans were, armed with what looked like children's toys. The realization, but then we saw those toys in action, Varys said, his face taking on a distant look. It was on Crixus 4, that God's forsaken swamp planet where the fungus grew taller than trees. Our platoon got pinned down by a Cryan ambush. Bastards came out of nowhere. We sent out in SOS, but command said the nearest backup was still hours away. We thought we were dead meat. Varys took a long swig of ale before continuing, his voice low. Then he appeared, like a spirit of vengeance sent by the gods themselves. This lone human soldier, built like an ox, came striding out of that fungal hell with the biggest damn gun I'd ever seen. Zolak leaned forward, fascinated. I've never heard of such a weapon. Was it some experimental prototype the humans were testing? The Gatling gun. Varys shook his head. Not at all. Sergeant Rice said it was an ancient design, something called a Gatling gun, that originated on Earth centuries ago, during their early industrial period. How the hell did it work, and how could it be effective against the Cryan advanced armor? Zolak asked incredulously. The gun had 6 rotating barrels, allowing an insanely high rate of fire for a kinetic weapon. Rice had modified it to use our standard power cells, so he basically never had to reload. Varys explained. But the real secret was the ammunition, solid slugs of dense metal. When he opened up on the Cryans, it was like a meteor shower tearing through their ranks. The battle, Zolak let out a whistle. Bet that pissed them right off. Their energy shielding is top-notch against plasma and lasers, but a wall of physical projectiles. I can picture the carnage. Oh, they adapted quick enough, Varys said with a dry chuckle. Sent in their heavy infantry, covered head to toe in reactive plating with portable barriers that could tank our rifle fire all day long. But Rice, crazy bastard. He just shifted aim and started popping off shots at their joints and weak points. Blew out a knee here, vaporized an elbow there. Prick barely even slowed down. The revolver. Zolak shook his head in disbelief. Unreal, but even he couldn't hold off a whole army forever, right? You'd think so, but I kid you not, when the Cryans tried to Zerg rush him, he pulls out the biggest hand cannon I've ever seen. Called it a revolver or some such damn thing. Looked like it was meant to hunt dinosaurs. He nailed the battle master square in the face, right through the helm slit with one shot. One shot splattered that ugly fucker's brains across 3 zip codes. Zolak's mouth fell open. A revolver that can take out a Cryan battle master. Ridiculous. Those brutes are clad in armor that can shrug off close-ranged plasma blasts without a scratch. The human advantage. That's the beauty of human weapons, my friend, Varys said with a smug grin. They don't rely on fancy energy beams or superheated plasma. It's all about raw kinetic power, and they've spent centuries perfecting the art of killing with it. He took a swig of his ale before continuing. Rice told me afterward that his hand cannon fired these massive rounds called 44 Magnums. Apparently, they were originally designed to take down large, dangerous creatures on Earth, creatures that could shrug off smaller bullets like raindrops. But the Cryans must have adapted their tactics after that first encounter. Zolak said, frowning. They're a cunning bunch. They wouldn't just let the humans pick them off like that. The adaptation. You're right, they did learn, Varys said, chuckling softly. Started using drones and long-range artillery to keep Rice and his Gatling gun at a distance. But the humans, they always seem to have an answer. Varys shook his head, his eyes distant as if reliving a haunting memory. The Terrans deployed their own drones, these tiny insect-like machines that jammed the Cryan sensors and communications. It was like a swarm of metal locusts devouring their signals and leaving them blind and deaf. Zolak listened intently, his earlier apathy forgotten. And then, when the Cryans were scrambling in confusion, the humans brought out their big guns. Varys continued. Rice called them howitzers, these massive artillery pieces that lobbed shells the size of a Thran's head. But it wasn't the size that made them so deadly, it was what they were filled with. Varys paused, his eyes distant. White phosphorus, they called it. When those shells burst, they sprayed this burning chemical everywhere, and it just kept burning. It clung to the Cryan's armor, sizzling and melting through the layers like a hot knife through grease. I saw warriors running, screaming as they cooked inside their own suits. Even the Battlemaster, his armor was useless against it. He burned just like the rest of them. Zolak sat in stunned silence, trying to process the brutality of the human weapons. I always thought of the Terrans as soft, their technology inferior, but this is something else entirely. The deadly arsenal. Varys sighed heavily, his gaze distant. Rice tried to explain it to me once. Said something about how in war you have to be willing to do whatever it takes to win. That if you're not ready to go all the way, to cross every line, then you've already lost. But still, Zolak insisted, there have to be limits. Rules of engagement, codes of honor. Otherwise, what separates us from the beasts we fight? Varys barked out a humorless laugh. Honor? The Cryans didn't give a damn about honor when they were slaughtering entire colonies, wiping out whole species. You think they would have shown us mercy if they'd had the upper hand? Zolak had no response to that. The Cryan cruelty was legendary, their atrocities numerous and well documented. Still, the thought of stooping to their level, of employing such indiscriminate weapons, sat ill with him. What about the tanks? He asked, eager to change the subject. These Abrams you mentioned, how did they turn the tide? Varys' eye glinted with something almost like admiration. You should have seen them, Zolak. These massive hulking beasts of metal and ceramic, rolling across the battlefield like something out of a nightmare. The Cryans threw everything they had at them, plasma cannons, antimatter missiles, even some sort of gravity-based weapon that could crush a normal tank into a ball the size of your fist. He leaned forward, his voice lowering. But the Abrams, they just kept coming. Their armor was unlike anything we'd ever seen, multiple layers of composite materials designed to react and adapt to incoming energy weapons. And when a round did manage to penetrate, there was another layer underneath, some sort of self-sealing polymer that could plug a hole in seconds. Zolak's eyes widened. Incredible. And you said their main guns could penetrate even Cryan fortifications. Varys nodded grimly, like they were made of paper. The humans called the rounds depleted uranium, dense as hell with a self-sharpening tip that could punch through meters of reinforced concrete. I saw an Abrams put a hole clean through a Cryan bunker, then keep right on rolling like it was nothing. He shook his head, as if in disbelief at his own memories. That was when I knew, Zolak, when I realized that maybe we'd underestimated the humans. That maybe, just maybe, they were the ones we should have been afraid of all along. Zolak whistled softly, his eyes wide with wonder. A spacecraft that can outmaneuver Cryan fighters. I've never heard of such a thing. What did the humans call it? The Starhawk. Varys leaned in, his voice low. They called it the F-41 Starhawk. Apparently, it was a top-secret project, years ahead of anything else in the galaxy. Sergeant Rice told me it could fly from a planet's surface straight into orbit, then engage enemies in deep space without missing a beat. The Starhawk's engines were unlike anything I'd ever seen. They used some kind of hybrid propulsion system that combined conventional thrusters with a miniaturized warp drive, allowing it to execute impossible maneuvers and outpace even the fastest Cryan fighters. The Starhawk's power. Zolak's eyes sparkled with awe. And its weapons. What kind of firepower did it pack? Varys grinned. The Starhawk was a flying arsenal. It had a pair of plasma cannons for close combat, missiles that could punch through starship hulls, and something Rice called a ghost rifle. This thing fired solid metal slugs at hypersonic speeds, capable of tearing through multiple layers of armor. It was like the Gatling gun on steroids, Zolak. Zolak shook his head in disbelief. How did the Cryans even stand a chance against such power? They didn't, Varys said flatly. The Starhawk tore through their fleets like a hot knife through butter. And the best part, it wasn't just one ship. The humans had squadrons of these things, and they coordinated their attacks with terrifying precision. It was a slaughter. The human strategy. But it wasn't just their technology that made the humans so formidable. Varys continued. It was their strategy, their willingness to adapt and innovate on the fly. While the Cryans relied on brute force and overwhelming numbers, the humans used deception, hit-and-run tactics, and psychological warfare. Zolak frowned. Psychological warfare. Varys nodded. Rice told me about one mission where his team infiltrated a Cryan command center. Instead of killing everyone inside, they planted false intel, leading the Cryan High Command to believe that a massive human fleet was about to attack their homeworld. The Cryans panicked and pulled back their forces, giving the humans time to regroup and launch a real offensive elsewhere. The turning point. Zolak leaned back, absorbing the weight of Varys' words. So it was their cunning and their willingness to fight dirty that gave the humans the edge. Exactly, Varys said. The humans fought like cornered animals, with nothing to lose and everything to gain. They were willing to use every trick, every dirty tactic, to ensure their survival, and that's what made them so dangerous. He paused, looking into his mug. You know, Zolak, I've seen a lot of horrors in my time, but the sight of those human soldiers, their eyes cold and determined, willing to do whatever it took to win, that still haunts me. The final stand. Zolak shivered. And what happened to Rice and his Gatling gun? Did they survive the war? Varys' face darkened. Rice and his team fought to the bitter end. They held the line during the final stand on Cryan Prime, buying time for the human fleet to deliver the killing blow. I was there, Zolak. I saw him go down, still firing that ancient gun, still taking out Cryans left and right until the very end. Zolak was silent for a moment, then raised his mug. To Sergeant Rice and the human warriors. May their bravery and cunning never be forgotten. Varys clinked his mug against Zolak's. To Rice, and to the humans who showed us that sometimes, the most dangerous weapon isn't the one you can see, but the one you can't. Reflections. As the two veterans drank in silence, the bar around them buzzed with stories and laughter. But in their corner, the memories of a war fought against an enemy, unlike any other, lingered, a testament to the terrifying potential of human ingenuity and determination. Zolak finally broke the silence. You know, Varys, I never thought I'd say this, but maybe we could learn something from the humans. Their adaptability, their willingness to think outside the box. It might be what we need to face the challenges ahead. Varys nodded slowly. You're right, Zolak. We may have been enemies once, but the humans taught us that survival often means embracing the unexpected, the unconventional. And in this galaxy, that's a lesson we can't afford to ignore. New allies. As they finished their drinks and prepared to leave, Varys clapped Zolak on the shoulder. Come on, old friend. We've got a lot of work ahead of us. The galaxy isn't going to protect itself, and who knows what other surprises are out there, waiting for us. Zolak grinned. With allies like the humans, I think we might just have a fighting chance. Together, the two veterans walked out of the Karen bar, ready to face whatever the cosmos threw at them next, armed with the lessons learned from a war that had forever changed their perspective on humanity and warfare. The call to arms. Days turned into weeks, and the memory of the conversation in Karen bar remained with Varys and Zolak. They found themselves increasingly involved in the preparations for the next inevitable conflict. Their roles had shifted from being mere veterans to becoming strategists and advisors, their insights into human warfare becoming invaluable to their commanders. One evening, as they pored over battle plans in the war room, a young officer approached them. "Commanders, we just received a distress signal from the outer colonies. It seems the Shar Khan have begun their invasion." Varys and Zolak exchanged a grim look. The Shar Khan were a brutal, warlike species that had been a thorn in the side of the galaxy for centuries. Their sudden aggression was a sign of dark times ahead. "Let's see the details," Varys said, gesturing for the officer to bring up the holographic display. The map of the outer colonies lit up with red markers, indicating Shar Khan movements and known strongholds. The human advantage. Zolak studied the map intently. The Shar Khan are strong, but they're predictable. They always hit hard and fast, hoping to overwhelm their opponents with sheer force. If we can outmaneuver them, we might just stand a chance. Varys nodded. We need to think like humans, use deception, misdirection, and guerrilla tactics. And we need to call in our allies. The humans have proven their worth. It's time we fight alongside them. A message was sent out to the Turan Federation, detailing the situation and requesting immediate assistance. Within hours, a reply came back. The humans were on their way. The arrival. 3 days later, a fleet of human ships emerged from hyperspace above the embattled colony of Cygnus Ivy. Varys and Zolak stood on the bridge of their flagship, watching as the sleek, deadly vessels took up formation around them. The lead ship, the UNS Starhawk, hailed them. "This is Captain Jenna Rice of the Starhawk. We've received your distress call and are ready to assist. What are your orders?" Zolak couldn't help but smile. "Captain Rice, welcome. We need to lure the Shar Khan into a trap. Can your ships provide a distraction while we set up our defenses?" Captain Rice's voice was confident. "Consider it done. We'll give those Shar Khan something to think about." The Battle of Cygnus Eve. The humans' arrival turned the tide of the battle. While the Shar Khan focused their attention on the human fleet, Varys and Zolak directed their forces to fortify the colony's defenses and set up ambushes in the surrounding asteroid fields. Captain Rice's Starhawk led the charge, darting in and out of enemy formations, delivering punishing blows before disappearing into the void. The Shar Khan, caught off guard by the humans' unorthodox tactics, began to falter. On the ground, human and alien soldiers fought side by side, their combined strength creating a formidable defense. Zolak found himself fighting alongside a burly human marine, their backs against the wall as they held off wave after wave of Zarkhan warriors. A new alliance. As the battle raged on, Varys coordinated the space defense from the bridge of his flagship. "Captain Rice, we're ready for the final push. Draw the Zarkhan fleet into Sector 7. We'll spring the trap there." "Understood, Commander," Rice replied. Starhawk, engaging Sector 7. The human ships executed a daring maneuver, feigning retreat and drawing the Shar Khan into a narrow corridor between two large asteroids. As the enemy fleet pursued, hidden turrets and mines activated, devastating the Shar Khan ships caught in the trap. On the ground, the Shar Khan forces began to retreat, their morale shattered by the unexpected and relentless human tactics. Varys and Zolak led a final charge. driving the invaders off the planet and securing victory for the Allied forces. Victory and reflection. After the battle, Varys and Zolak stood on the bridge of their flagship, looking out at the debris-strewn battlefield. Captain Rice joined them, her uniform stained with battle but her eyes shining with determination. "Thank you, Captain," Varys said. "We couldn't have done it without you and your people." Rice smiled. "We're all in this together. The Sharkan are a threat to us all, and we need to stand united to face them." Zolak nodded. "You're right. This alliance, forged in battle, is our best hope for the future." As the Allied fleet began to regroup and repair, Varys, Zolak, and Rice looked out into the stars, knowing that many challenges lay ahead. But they also knew that with allies like the humans, they had a fighting chance, a new beginning. In the days that followed, the alliance between the humans and their alien counterparts strengthened. Joint training exercises, technology exchanges, and shared intelligence became the norm. The lessons learned from the humans' unconventional warfare tactics were integrated into the defense strategies of the entire coalition. Varys and Zolak continued to serve as advisors, their experiences and insights helping to shape the future of the alliance. Captain Rice became a symbol of unity, her leadership and bravery inspiring both human and alien soldiers alike. The galaxy, once divided by fear and mistrust, now stood united against a common enemy. And as the Allied forces prepared for the next inevitable conflict, they did so with a newfound sense of hope and determination. For in the face of adversity, they had discovered the true strength of unity and the terrifying potential of human ingenuity and courage. And with that, they were ready to face whatever the cosmos had in store for them, knowing that together they were unstoppable. The new frontier. The victory at Cygnus IV was just the beginning. As news of the successful alliance spread throughout the galaxy, more species began to join the coalition, each bringing their unique strengths and technologies. The Galactic Council, once a fractured and bickering assembly, now worked together with a singular purpose: to defeat the Sharkan and ensure the safety of all sentient life. In the weeks following the battle, Varys, Zolak, and Captain Rice found themselves at the forefront of this new era. Their success had made them heroes, and their leadership was crucial in organizing the diverse and often disparate forces now rallying to the cause. Strategic planning. In a massive war room aboard the flagship Concordia, representatives from various species gathered around a holographic table, maps of the galaxy showing enemy movements and potential targets flickered before them. "We need to strike at the heart of the Sharkan territory," Varys said, pointing to a cluster of star systems. "Taking out their central command will cripple their ability to coordinate attacks." Zolak nodded in agreement. "We also need to secure our supply lines and protect our outer colonies. The Sharkan thrive on chaos. We must deny them the opportunity to spread fear and confusion." Captain Rice added, "And we should leverage our new allies' strengths. The Icarans have superior stealth technology, the Vortons have unparalleled ground combat skills, and the Nihari possess advanced medical knowledge. If we can integrate these into our strategies, we'll be much more effective." The infiltration mission. One of the first major operations was a daring infiltration mission into Zarkan space. A small elite team, including members from several species, was tasked with gathering intelligence and sabotaging key enemy installations. Varys and Zolak, veterans of countless battles, volunteered to lead the mission, with Captain Rice coordinating from the command ship. As their cloaked shuttle slipped past enemy defenses, Varys briefed the team. "Our primary objective is the Sharkan communication hub. If we can disable it, their fleets will be thrown into disarray." Zolak, checking his weapon, added, "Remember, speed and stealth are our allies. We get in, do the job, and get out. No heroics." The mission went almost too smoothly. The team managed to infiltrate the Sharkan base, plant explosives, and gather crucial data on enemy fleet movements. As they made their escape, the base erupted in a series of explosions, marking the success of their mission. United front. With the intelligence gathered from the infiltration mission, the Allied forces were able to launch a series of coordinated strikes against key Zarkhan positions. Each battle brought new victories, further weakening the enemy and bolstering the morale of the coalition. On the front lines, human and alien soldiers fought side by side, their camaraderie growing stronger with each engagement. The bond forged in battle proved unbreakable, and stories of bravery and sacrifice spread throughout the galaxy, inspiring even more species to join the fight. The turning point. The tide of war was turning, but the Zarkhan were not defeated yet. Their desperation made them even more dangerous, and the coalition knew that a final decisive battle was inevitable. As the Allied fleet prepared for the assault on the Zarkhan homeworld, Varys, Zolak, and Captain Rice addressed the assembled troops. "Today, we stand on the brink of history," Varys began. "We have fought long and hard to reach this point, and now we have the chance to end this war once and for all." Zolak continued, "Remember why we fight. We fight for our homes, our families, and our future. We fight for the friends we've lost and the peace we hope to achieve." Captain Rice concluded, "Together, we are unstoppable. Let's show the Zarkhan the true strength of our unity. Let's give them a battle they'll never forget." The final battle. The Allied fleet emerged from hyperspace above the Zarkhan homeworld, a planet heavily fortified and bristling with defenses. The Zarkhan fleet awaited them, a vast armada ready to defend their territory to the last ship. The battle that followed was unlike any the galaxy had seen. Massive ships clashed in the void, their energy weapons lighting up the darkness. Fighter squadrons weaved through the chaos, engaging in deadly dogfights. On the ground, soldiers stormed enemy fortifications, fighting street by street, building by building. Varys and Zolak led the charge on the ground, their experience and determination driving their troops forward. Captain Rice, commanding the Starhawk, orchestrated the space battle, her keen tactical mind turning the tide in favor of the Allies. Victory at last. Hours turned into days, but the relentless assault of the Allied forces eventually broke the Zarkhan defenses. One by one, their ships were destroyed or forced to retreat, and their ground forces were overwhelmed. The final stronghold of the Zarkhan leadership fell, and with it, the war was won. As the dust settled, the leaders of the coalition gathered to mark the historic victory. Varys, Zolak, and Captain Rice stood at the forefront, their faces etched with exhaustion but also with pride. "We did it," Varys said, his voice filled with emotion. "We brought peace to the galaxy." Zolak nodded. "And we did it together." Captain Rice smiled. "This is just the beginning. Now we can build a future where all species can live in harmony, free from the threat of war." A new era. With the Zarkhan defeated, the galaxy entered a new era of peace and cooperation. The alliances formed in the heat of battle grew stronger, leading to unprecedented collaboration and progress. Technologies were shared, cultures exchanged, and a new galactic council was established, one founded on mutual respect and unity. Varys, Zolak, and Captain Rice continued to serve as leaders and ambassadors, their legacy of bravery and cooperation inspiring generations to come. They had shown that even in the darkest of times, hope and unity could prevail. And so, the galaxy moved forward, united, and ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead, confident that together, they could overcome anything. The legacy of heroes years passed, and the story of the Great Alliance against the Zarkhan became a legend, taught in schools and celebrated in festivals. Statues of Varys, Zolak, and Captain Rice were erected in the capital cities of many worlds, a testament to their heroism and the power of unity. The once divided galaxy was now a beacon of hope and cooperation, its people thriving in the peace that had been so hard won. The lessons of the war were never forgotten, serving as a reminder of the strength that comes from standing together. And as the stars continued to shine brightly in the vast expanse of space, the legacy of the heroes of Cygnus I lived on, inspiring all who looked up at the night sky and dreamed of a better future. Rebuilding and renewal. The galaxy, now free from the shadow of the Sharkan, turned its focus to rebuilding. War had left many worlds scarred, and the coalition prioritized restoring infrastructure, aiding refugees, and healing the wounds of conflict. The new Galactic Council allocated resources and dispatched teams to the most affected areas, ensuring that no one was left behind. Varys, Zolak, and Captain Rice played pivotal roles in these efforts. They traveled from planet to planet, overseeing reconstruction projects, mediating disputes, and offering their support and wisdom. Their presence was a constant reminder of the unity and strength that had brought victory, and their leadership continued to inspire hope and resilience. Education and exchange. One of the most significant changes in the post-war era was the emphasis on education and cultural exchange. The Galactic Council established a network of interstellar academies where young beings from all species could learn together. These institutions focused on science, technology, diplomacy, and the arts, fostering a sense of shared purpose and understanding. Varys, a scholar at heart, took a special interest in these academies. He often gave lectures, sharing his knowledge of history, philosophy, and the lessons of the war. Students from across the galaxy were captivated by his wisdom, and many were inspired to pursue careers in public service and diplomacy. Exploration and discovery. With the threat of the Sharkan gone, the galaxy turned its eyes to the stars once more. The spirit of exploration, which had been stifled by years of conflict, was reignited. New starships were built, equipped with the latest technologies from various species, and sent out to chart unknown regions of space. Captain Rice, a seasoned explorer, led many of these missions. Her expertise and adventurous spirit made her the perfect candidate to navigate the uncharted territories. Each new discovery, whether a habitable planet, a resource-rich asteroid belt, or an ancient alien artifact, added to the collective knowledge and wealth of the galaxy. Guardians of Peace. Despite the newfound peace, the Galactic Council recognized the need for a dedicated force to protect and uphold the harmony they had achieved. Thus, the Guardians of Peace were formed, an elite group of soldiers, diplomats, and scholars from every species, trained to respond to threats and mediate conflicts. Zolak, with his unmatched combat skills and deep understanding of warfare, was appointed as the first commander of the Guardians. Under his leadership, the Guardians became a symbol of justice and stability, ensuring that the darkness of war would never return. A celebration of unity. As the galaxy settled into this new era, the Galactic Council decided to commemorate their victory and the subsequent peace with an annual celebration. Known as Unity Day, this event brought beings from all corners of the galaxy together to celebrate their shared triumph and the bonds that had been forged. On the first Unity Day, a grand ceremony was held on Cygnus IV, the site of the pivotal battle. Leaders from every species attended, along with countless citizens who wished to honor the heroes and remember the fallen. Varys, Zolak, and Captain Rice were given the highest honors, their bravery and dedication immortalized in the annals of galactic history. Looking to the future. As Unity Day festivities concluded, Varys stood on a balcony overlooking the assembled crowds. Beside him were Zolak and Captain Rice, his trusted friends and comrades. The night sky above was filled with the twinkling lights of distant stars, a reminder of the vastness of the galaxy and the endless possibilities that lay ahead. "We've come a long way," Varys said, his voice filled with a mixture of pride and nostalgia. "But our journey is far from over. There's so much more to discover, so much more to achieve." Zolak nodded. "And we'll face it together, just as we always have." Captain Rice smiled. "To the future, then. To peace, unity, and the boundless potential of the galaxy." The legacy continues. And so, the heroes of Cygnus IV look to the future, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. Their story, one of bravery, unity, and hope, became a beacon for all who sought to make the galaxy a better place. Generations would come and go, but the legacy of Varys, Zolak, and Captain Rice would endure, a testament to the power of collaboration and the enduring spirit of sentient life. As long as beings looked to the stars with wonder and determination, the galaxy would continue to thrive, united in its pursuit of peace and prosperity. The next generation. As time passed, a new generation rose, inspired by the stories of Varys, Zolak, and Captain Rice. They carried forward the values of unity, bravery, and curiosity, eager to explore the universe and build upon the foundation laid by their predecessors. Among these new leaders was Lyra, a young human diplomat who had grown up hearing tales of the great heroes. She embodied the spirit of cooperation, tirelessly working to forge alliances and resolve conflicts. Her passion for diplomacy and her unwavering dedication to peace made her a rising star in the Galactic Council. The Guardians' mission. Under Zolak's continued guidance, the Guardians of Peace expanded their role, not just as defenders but also as ambassadors of goodwill. They embarked on missions to distant worlds, providing aid during natural disasters, mediating disputes, and sharing knowledge. Their presence became a symbol of hope and stability, a reassurance that the dark days of war were truly behind them. Exploration and innovation. Captain Rice's explorations led to the discovery of new civilizations and technologies. Her expeditions uncovered ancient ruins and advanced artifacts that revolutionized understanding of the universe's history. These findings spurred a new era of technological advancement and cultural exchange, with species sharing innovations and learning from each other's unique perspectives. Varys' wisdom. Varys, now an elder statesman, continued to educate and inspire. He established the Varys Institute for Interstellar Studies, a center dedicated to the pursuit of knowledge and the promotion of peace. Scholars from all species came to study and contribute, fostering an environment of intellectual curiosity and collaboration. Unity Day, a beacon of hope. Unity Day became a symbol of the galaxy's resilience and determination to maintain peace. Each year, the celebration grew with more worlds participating and sharing their cultures. The festival was a reminder of the sacrifices made and the victories achieved, a day when beings of all kinds came together in joy and remembrance. An unexpected visitor. One Unity Day, a mysterious ship arrived at Cygnus IV. It bore markings unlike any known species and carried an emissary with a message. The emissary, a being of light and energy, introduced themselves as a representative of an ancient race that had observed the galaxy from afar. "We have watched your struggles and your triumphs," the emissary said. "We see your potential for greatness and your capacity for unity. We offer our knowledge and friendship, in the hope that together we can achieve even greater heights." A new chapter. The arrival of the emissary marked the beginning of a new chapter in galactic history. The ancient race, known as the Luminar, shared their vast knowledge and advanced technologies, accelerating the progress of the galaxy's civilizations. Their wisdom and guidance helped resolve lingering conflicts and sparked new innovations. The legacy lives on. As the galaxy moved forward, the legacy of Varys, Zolak, and Captain Rice continued to shine brightly. Their story became a cornerstone of galactic culture, taught in schools and celebrated in songs and literature. The principles they championed, unity, bravery, and curiosity, remained at the heart of the Galactic Council's mission. Lyra, Zolak, Captain Rice, and the new generation of leaders carried the torch, guiding the galaxy towards a future filled with endless possibilities. Together, they ensured that the lessons of the past were never forgotten and that the spirit of cooperation and exploration remained strong. The Belag, the Star of Unity. In the night sky of Cygnus IV, a new star appeared, shining brightly for all to see. It was named the Star of Unity, a celestial reminder of the galaxy's journey from darkness to light. As beings looked up at the star, they felt a sense of hope and determination, knowing that as long as they stood together, there was no limit to what they could achieve. And so, the galaxy continued to thrive, united in its pursuit of peace and prosperity, ever reaching for the stars and the boundless wonders they held. The legacy of the heroes of Cygnus I lived on, a beacon of hope and inspiration for generations to come.